Let's go. Batter up. We're taking the afternoon off. It's a beautiful day for a ball game. For a ball game today. The fans are out to get a ticket or two. From Walla Walla, Washington to Kalamazoo. It's a beautiful day for a home run. But even a triple's okay. We're gonna cheer and boo and raise a hullabaloo at the ball game today.
Hey everybody, it's me, Rick Acosta, the Dodger Card Collector, coming to you with another video. Today is Thursday, January 26th. Hopefully you see this video on the 26th, and maybe on the 26th or the 27th. Depends on how the rest of my day goes in regards to work and just other things around the house. But hopefully you guys are having a good week. What's going on? Let's start with sports. We've got the NFC and AFC championship games coming up. NFC, obviously you guys already know this. I'm rooting for the Philadelphia Eagles to take care of the Niners. AFC, I'm starting to jump on that Joe Burrow bandwagon. I have a feeling they're gonna. He's looking really good. The Bengals are looking really good. Let's see what Pat Mahomes' ankle does to him on Sunday. You never know, though. I could see the Chiefs winning this, but I have a feeling the Bengals have won, I think, 2 in a row or 3 in a row from the Chiefs. So let's see what happens on Sunday. They're going to both be incredible games. What else? I haven't spoken much about the Lakers lately, just probably because there's not much there to talk about. So they're playing, and I watch. NHL, the Kings are at the moment of this video, they're in second place, I believe. I think they're a game out of first place from Las Vegas, and we're going to see what happens there after the All-Star break. And Major League Baseball, I still feel like we're getting ready for opening day, and it's still January. Scott Rowland was picked into the Baseball Hall of Fame. Congratulations to him. And so that's what's going on sports-wise. Hobby-wise, I had a good week. I picked up a couple of cards from the Robert Edwards auction and 3 cards from eBay. Of which I will show you hopefully in my next video. And I'm currently not looking to pick anything else up in the coming weeks, which kind of brings me up to the subject of today's video. Was my last video one of my last videos we discussed goals, or 2023 goals. And some of us have 10 goals, 20 goals, 50 goals. My goals, I think, were 10 or 11, and it's basically used based off of what I call, and what a lot of us might call, is, how big is your net? And when I talk about a net, I actually kind of do use the fishing reference. I'm not a fisherman, but I do know what a net is, a fishing net. And I would say my net right now is pretty low. Now I'm going to look at my phone here, because I have written down all of my goals, or what cards I'm looking for. And in reality, I am looking at, about 3 to 5 pre-war cards, mostly from the 30s. Need to finish my 41 play ball set. If I was living in a perfect world where I had a lot of money, I would finish my 1952 Topps Dodgers high numbers. I would go out and buy a Jackie Robinson Bowman rookie. The one goal that I do really want to finish would be the 1957 Topps Brooks Robinson card. And I need 3 Topps Heritage cards in 2014. So if you take that into account, along with my bucket list cards, which I guess I call those cards the cards that if I won the lottery, I have... I have getting a T206 Walter Johnson, or a T205 Walter Johnson. Same thing with Christy Mathewson. Same thing with Ty Cobb. I'd like to get a 1933 Lou Gehrig. But in reality, when you look at all the cards that at this moment I'm currently looking at or looking for, it's less than 75 cards. So in that regards, my net is very small. And I don't know what your net is like. If you're working on, some of you guys have hundreds of thousands of cards or even like 50,000 cards. Your nets are really big and you're working on 6 or 7 sets or even 2 or 3 sets at the same time. Your net is pretty big. My net is small. And I'm wondering if I need to make that net a little bigger, or do I need to start settling into a point where you buy 1 or 2 big cards a year, or 1 or 2 big cards a month, and just do that for the next few years? So I asked you guys a few weeks ago about 1960 sets featuring 1960, 1963, 1967. I've basically decided at some point, whether it's this year or next year, to probably work on the 1963 set and the 1960 set. But until that happens, my net is pretty low. So I'm not looking for too many cards. Take that back. I'm always looking for cards, but I'm not buying that many cards. So just kind of wanted to throw that out there with you guys. What's your net like? Do you have a really wide net? When you go, I see some of you guys go to card shows and come home with hundreds of cards. And I haven't done that in a long time. I'm lucky if I come home with 2 cards. So what's your net like? What are you looking for, or what should I be looking for? Should I broaden my horizons? I don't collect football. I don't collect basketball. I don't collect hockey. But I also have kind of reached a point where I just want to buy a few cards a month, and let's see how that goes. But just throwing that out there as I ramble on about how big is our net. And my net at the moment is very small, but if that changes, obviously, I'm going to let you know. So, all right, I'm going to show you some cards because I'm not going to just sit here and ramble all day. I have about 4 or 5 cards I want to show you guys. I'm going to pose a question to you when I turn the camera around, and we'll go from there. All right? Thank you. Here we go. All right. So in 2017, the Dodgers played the Astros in the World Series, and legendary broadcaster Vin Scully was asked to throw the first pitch. Vinny went out there and mockingly pretended like he couldn't make the pitch. And he said, I need a left-hander. I need a left-hander to replace me, since he was a left-handed pitcher. So it brings me up to the big question, and I posted this on Instagram about a year ago, and I thought I would try this on YouTube. It's Game 7 of the World Series. You need a left-handed pitcher. Who are you going to pick, and why? I'm going to present to you 5 candidates, and you just tell me who you think who you'd like. So we're going to start off with Whitey Ford. Now, you might go, Whitey Ford? Well, yeah, Whitey was a 6-time World Series winner. He pitched in 11. This shows you how the Yankees were so successful. Pitched in 11 different World Series games. He started 22 games, and he pitched 7 complete games. He won 10 World Series games, and in the World Series, he also won the 1961 World Series MVP award. So Whitey would be my candidate. Now, the year that I'm showing you is the 1967 Topps. The year doesn't really have any relevance here. It's more along the lines of, I just wanted to present to you certain cards that I haven't shown off. So my first choice, or my first candidate, is Whitey Ford. My second candidate for left-handed pitcher to pitch in Game 7 of the World Series is going to be Warren Spahn, who won the World Series in 1957 with the Milwaukee Braves. He also pitched in 3 different World Series in 1948, 1957, and 1958. And he did pitch 3 complete games, winning 4 World Series games. So candidate number 2 is being represented in his 1954 Topps card is Warren Spahn. Great left-handed pitcher. You can't doubt that. Third candidate is going to be Sandy Koufax. What would a list of left-handers be without Sandy Koufax in it? So Well, why am I thinking of pitching Koufax? Well, he's a four-time World Series winner. He pitched in four different World Series: 1959, 1963, 1965, and 1966. He was on the World Series teams in 1955 and 1956 for the Brooklyn Dodgers, but he did not play in those series. All four of his World Series wins were complete games. In 1963, he struck out a record 15 New York Yankees in Game 1. And in 1965, he pitched a shutout in Game 5 with 10 strikeouts. Then on 2 days rest in Game 7, he pitched a 3-hit shutout with another 10 strikeouts as the Dodgers won the World Series in 7 games over the Minnesota Twins. Koufax was a 2-time World Series MVP in 1963 and 1965. And in 1963, he also won the National League MVP and the Cy Young Award. So this card I'm featuring is the 1959 top Sandy Koufax card. I would say that's one of my favorites, but every time I show a Sandy Koufax card to you guys, no matter what year it is, I always say that's one of my favorites. So candidate number 3 is Sandy Koufax. Candidate number 4, he's known as Lefty, is Steve Carlton. 2-time World Series winner, once with the 1967 St. Louis Cardinals, and in his prime with the 1980 Philadelphia Phillies. In 1980, Carlton led the National League in victories with 24, strikeouts with 286, and innings pitched with 304 to help get the Phillies to the World Series in 1980 and win. Their first title that they had won in a very long time. He won the series final game and was 2-0 with a 2.40 ERA, 17 strikeouts and 15 innings in his 2 starts against the Kansas City Royals. Carlton was the last Major League pitcher to have 300 innings pitched in a season. And the card I'm showing to you today is the 1965 Topps rookie card of Steve Carlton, along with Fritz Ackley. When I look at this, it's funny how the Cardinals did not have red uniforms, or they always wore red caps, and these uniforms look dark. I could tell that Ackley looks like he was brought over from the Yankees, but Carlton has a dark cap on, and even his jersey here looks like dark writing. So that's my 4th candidate, Steve Carlton. Before I present to you the 5th card, I should have mentioned at the very beginning, I'm basically sticking to the vintage era. So there's no one here pre 1948. So if somebody's saying where's Lefty Grove or Lefty Gomez, or some guys from pre-war, I'm not including them, most likely just because I don't have all of their cards. So my last candidate, number 5, and not vintage, but I thought I'd throw in a modern guy. So I'm going to include Randy Johnson, the big unit. Randy pitched in the 2001 World Series for the Arizona Diamondbacks. He went 3-0 with 19 strikeouts in 17 innings pitched with an ERA of 1.04. In Game 2, after Game 1 was pitched by Curt Schilling, Arizona continued to take control of the series with a strong performance by Mr. Randy Johnson. The big unit pitched a complete game shutout, allowing 4 base runners and 3 hits while striking out 11 New York Yankees. Then in Game 6, Johnson pitched 7 innings and struck out 7, giving up 2. He gave up 2 runs for his second win of the series, which leads us now to Game 7. Johnson just pitched Game 6. Curt Schilling was the starting pitcher for Game 7. He went 7 1/3 innings. And eventually, manager Bob Brenly came to the mound to remove Schilling, and he brought in Game 5 starter Miguel Batista to get Derek Jeter out. And then in a completely unconventional move, he brought in the Game 6 starter Randy Johnson once again. The previous night, he had thrown 104 pitches, and he brought him in relief in a 1-run game. And it actually proved to be a smart move, as Johnson retired Pinch hitter Chuck Knobloch on a flyout to Miguel Batista in right field. And then return to the mound for the top of the ninth, where he got Bernie Williams to fly out to Steve Finley. And then Tino Martinez to ground out to shortstop Tony Womack at shortstop. And for good measure, he struck out catcher Jorge Posada to send the game at the bottom of the ninth inning, where the Diamondbacks went on to win the World Series on a Luis Gonzalez bloop single. And I'm featuring 1989 Upper Deck Randy Johnson card with the Montreal Expos. And he eventually got traded to the Seattle Mariners in a deal that sent Mark Langston to Montreal. So you got 5 cards, 5 starting pitchers. Warren Spahn, Whitey Ford, Randy Johnson, Sandy Koufax, and Steve Carlton. Who you throwing? Let me know in the comments. Game 7. Who do you got? Who's your left-hander? All right, guys. Have a wonderful weekend. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.
It's a beautiful day.